All right. Hey, Facebook.
Hello, everyone.
How are you guys? Y'all know we gotta get this going. So we are live right now on Facebook for Bread and Butter. I am Christian Butler with Russell Place of Promise here with my sister.
Hey, everybody. I'm Mahogany Mayfield, Community Liaison for Cousins Collective.
Hey y'all, I'm Shauntrice. I'm a loan officer with LHOME. I'm the director of Feed the West, and I'm the mother of Anija.
Yes.
And director of Feed the West. Come through. Come on. We appreciate all that you've been doing.
Yes, because Feed the West has been feeding the West. What's the numbers now? It was at like, honey, 20,000 the first night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the numbers, listen, Taylor is the best person to turn to because we submit our numbers to her. I think, don't quote me, I think we have officially today hit 10,000 people served.
That's amazing.
Over 50,000 in cash donations. I believe almost 1 million in groceries donated and supplies donated. 1,000 or more volunteers. Like, it's taken off.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm excited, and what a wonderful way for us to start off this Bread and Butter. Because this Bread and Butter is all about Black women during this pandemic doing dope things. That's why I got my Black Queen shirt on today, and I'm surrounded by Black Queens today. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to our Bread and Butter. This is our second episode of Bread and Butter, coming to you all once a month. So I'm so excited about this presentation that Shauntrice has put on. So without further ado, let's get started.
Yes, let's shine.
Yeah, let's shine. Our theme is Black Women Shine. How bright you gonna shine today? That's my thing. I ask people. All right, and then I will be moderating the Facebook Live for you guys. So if you all have any questions, please do not hesitate to put those in the comment section, and we'll answer those for you. And then Mahogany will be running the slides for you as Shauntrice is presenting. So you guys, please engage with us. We're going to try to answer some of those questions that you all asked when we shared in the Play Cousins group the other day as well. So just engage back with us, you all, so we know that you guys are enjoying the live video and the presentation. So I'm sharing my screen.
And just while we start to pull everything up, I know that there is a bunch of action going on. We had a lot of our local activists in Frankfurt this morning and throughout the day. So I just want to shout out a couple different folks, and this is by no means a full list, but there are people out there really working. We got Casa Heron, Chanel Helm, Brandon Herring, DJ John Q. We have Taylor, of course, who's literally always working. You know, they're just all these people that are doing a bunch of stuff, not just out on the front lines, but also writing and advocating, babysitting for the people who are on the front lines. So I just want to shout that out and say that, like, whatever way you can get activated, that's a good way to get activated. Don't feel like you always have to do one type of activism, one type of advocacy. We'll talk a little bit about that today and like diversifying your revenue streams. You also can diversify the ways you show up for our people in these moments. So that's one thing my therapist has told me many times, and I just want to pass that on to everyone. Like, what you can do is what you can do.
Yes, I second everything that you just said, Shauntrice. And I'm trying to pull up your presentation. I have it sharing the screen. Go to that one.
Well, maybe if it's, you know, I can also just try to share it from mine and see if that works.
Okay. Yeah, it's not allowing her to play the slideshow.
If you unshare, then I'll share and we'll bring it up.
Okay.
And then just while we're doing this, you all who are watching and typing, if you can say like what your sort of passion is, what's your side hustle, what's your other project besides your main job, unless you're full-time entrepreneur, like what is it that you're doing that would be helpful for us to talk about when we have the Q&A at the end? All right, let's see now. Now, last time we won against technology, so we're gonna see what happens. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm sharing.
Yes, you are.
Woo, all right. See, you could be 35 and still beat technology. Yes.
Yes.
It's moving every day, so it makes it difficult. Come on.
And you can be 25 and not.
Now,
I
so
feel like it's completely fine because you shine in other areas.
He says.
And I'm like this.
so this
You
today is
probably gotta have the computer on.
Oh,
these
yeah.
tips can be used for people of all races, genders, creeds, colors, and all that. But we're focusing specifically on Black women shining. We're going to have a little mini pitch competition thing happening later. And, you know, I just want to say that, like, this is part of my passion. Like, whatever it is you do, if you are a beet farmer, if you are a mother who runs a daycare, like, whatever your passion is, like, if you can plug that into your finances, that's even better. So this is about how to transform your side hustle into reliable revenue. So that means not just like, oh, during Christmas or during Kwanzaa, my sales blow up, but the whole rest of the year, it's crickets. You know what I mean? So we want to have reliable revenue. And I'm, you know, I got them animations popping again.
Yeah, I'm here for them. I'm gonna tell you what, it gives a whole nother feel when you see the animations on there. So I'm excited.
Thank you. Although, shout out to the real graphic designer I know, Shaun. She's designed a lot of those really dope Charles Booker t-shirts. Like, she's so bomb that like people have been stealing her work.
Yes, I was just about to say, honey, we need to protect Black women. I've been seeing that on your page.
Yes.
We gotta protect ourselves. We do. And Shaun is a part of the Russell Place of Promise team too.
Yes.
Huh?
She designed the Russell Place of Promise website, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. And she works with us on different things with Russell Place of Promise in regards to that.
She also did the absentee ballot that everyone had.
Really?
But she really has done a lot for a lot of organizations that people don't know, because when you look at a website, you're looking for the organization, not necessarily the designer. So I'm just shout out real quick. She is the Black woman behind Grid Principles. And so she teaches music production and graphic design to children, to adults. Yeah, please hit her up. And Shaun is
She's a DJ.
She, like, for real, like Renaissance. I'm for real. I'm not just saying that because me and her wife share a birthday. Actually, like, dope. So shout out to Alicia too, who that's how I met her. All right, so we're gonna get back into it. The agenda today, we're gonna do quick intro, tips and trip ups, business phase, mini pitch competition, and then feedback. All right, so again, if you're just now tuning in, I'm Shauntrice. I am a loan officer with LHOME. I'm also the director of the Feed the West program, which is sponsored by Change Today, Change Tomorrow, Black run organization. Taylor Ryan is the executive director. The board is full of Black women. And you'll see in the background, there's a little way to get free groceries from Feed the West.
Shameless plug.
Hey, yard sign, pulled it out the yard, brought it in the house for this presentation.
Look, I know that's right.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to be here. The last one we did, I feel like, was dope. And, you know, I've gotten a lot of feedback about, like, how can we take what we're doing now and monetizing it? So that's a lot of what we'll discuss today.
Yes, and also we want to shout out Lucretia's Kitchen, who sponsored our meal today. We decided not to eat on live because we were starving, so we ate already. But hopefully you guys supported one of the 4 Sisters today from Russell, which is Lucretia's Kitchen, Sweet Peaches, Dasha Barber Southern Bistro, or the Hip Hop Sweet Shop. So just wanted to plug in those sisters who shine in the Russell neighborhood.
Yes, and got some bomb food. I couldn't even read tips on camera.
Listen, no, and we got that cheesecake, honey. We ready to tear it up.
Yes.
This is over. Oh, hey, Kristen.
Hey. Also, just so y'all know, I'm not ignoring anybody. Like I said last time, I can't see the chat, so hi in advance.
Right.
All right, so here's the 4 main questions we're gonna answer today. Number 1, which phase is my business in? Number 2, how do I pitch my business? Number 3, how do I measure cash flow? And we'll learn exactly what cash flow means. And then last, where does my dream client live? And I don't mean like, oh, are they on 41st Street? I mean, like, where do they live on the internet? Like, do they shop at a hiking store every weekend? Do they like organic, nut-free ice cream? You know what I mean? Where do they live on the internet? Where do they live when they're shopping? Like, what does that person look like? Think of your one dream client. I tend to think of a celebrity who represents my dream client, and then you build the rest of your marketing on that person. A lot of people say, well, everybody's my client. I want to sell to everybody. That's just not feasible, especially when you're starting out. You're kind of a niche or a niche. I don't know how people say it. And you want to just have that dream client, and you market to that dream client. And if that dream client loves it, they will tell other people. So I just want to encourage y'all to get specific.
And also, when you write your business plan, isn't that something that they want you to specify what your target market is?
Exactly. So I've been on a lot of judge panels for pitch competitions, and the people who say that everybody is my client tend to lose those competitions.
Right.
Because it shows that you haven't done the research. It takes a lot of time and research to figure out who your client is, who you're speaking to, what's important to them, especially in this age of COVID-19, right? People are not necessarily out shopping to see your product. Their first interaction might be an influencer using it on their live. It might be like they shop for some tennis shoes, and of course, Facebook and all that shows them 100 million tennis shoe ads.
Right.
So how are you going to stand out, especially if you don't have a budget to buy Facebook ads? And I'm not necessarily an advocate of online ads, like paid advertising. I prefer organic traffic, something a little more natural. But if you do want to go that route and you have the budget, you got to be real clear about what you're trying to do with that marketing. Okay, so these are the 5 startup phases. The part in the white, those are primarily what I think this call to be in. The part in the pink, those are the parts for like very established people. So we're mostly talking about startups going from like just knitting hats for your children to like it being on Etsy or it being in Walmart or wherever else. So we have the idea phase. That's when you're like, here's something I could do. You have the startup phase where you've maybe started selling. You might have a website up. You might have like 2 or 3 people that always come and get your elderberry juice. And I'm gonna shout out Patrice because that's who I usually get mine from.
Yes.
And I think Ida makes elderberry juice and oh goodness, I'm missing one.
Sea moss.
Thank you, sea moss. Yes.
Yes.
Very natural. You know, we are corona free over here, partially.
Okay.
In addition to quarantine and wash your hands. We also have that elderberry. We be chugging it. Okay.
Yes.
So shout out
to elderberry.
Yes, I love her, and all her children are healthy. Her family's healthy. Okay. And so the third one, we're not going to talk about the last 2. The third one is growth and establishment. That's where like you've done some things, you sold some stuff. People may even refer you. Like I just mentioned, Patrice. I hope you don't mind me saying that, girl. My bad. But that's sort of where like you've sold it to some people. People even may know you as the go-to for that thing, but you're trying to make sure that strangers buy your product, right? One thing about Feed the West is when Taylor and I, the first night when we were thinking about it, like I envisioned me in my hatchback and Taylor in her car, just like going to the grocery store, getting food and feeding some people. But now there are sites that I've never physically visited. There's over 10 sites. There are volunteers that I have never and probably will never meet, right? So they're interacting with me without having to personally meet me and shake my hand, right? And so most of our customers, even though it's a free program, the people we serve, our residents, they wouldn't recognize me on the street. I probably have seen them at Kroger and everything, right? Even though I don't like Kroger, make that clear. But I probably have seen them all over the place, but they don't know me personally. They don't know I do it. Even if I said the name Shauntrice, it probably still wouldn't connect, right? And that's because it is in the growth and establishment phase to where people who I don't know personally are interacting with my product or services. So that's a really important distinction on that piece. All right, so we went from having just a little bit of text to a lot of text. So if it's okay with Christian and Mahogany, I'm gonna have y'all go through these and we'll just do one at a time, and then I'll break down a little deeper what each one of those things means, just so it's not me lecturing at people the whole time.
Got you. So hold on, let me fix my screen because we can't see the full thing. All right, so the first one is to decide your call to action first. All right, so this should be tangible. An example is, I am seeking $10,000 in equity investment so we can build more drones.
All right.
Next up, you need to just, are you going to explain one by one?
Yeah, I can go into each one a little bit. So the call to action, it could be something as small as like, I want you to sign up for my newsletter, or I want you to show up to this pop-up that I'm having, or use this discount code. You just want to make sure you have something specific that people are doing at the end. Jessica Bellamy and Celine, and I'm sorry, Celine, I cannot remember your last name right now, but both of them have, been putting out a lot of flyers and a lot of graphics around, calling for justice for Breonna Taylor. And at the end of every single one, they have a call to action, like, here's the injustice. Here's something you can do about it. Like, I can call a senator, I can show up to a rally, I can write this person or email, and there are very diverse ways to engage. And while that is mostly activism and we're talking about, cash flow and everything, it still applies. Like, having calls to action is really good. And I don't take the credit for that because sometimes I just want the thing to come out quick. But it's probably better in many cases to have that call to action so that people can do something about your pitch. All right, y'all, we'll move to the next one.
Okay.
All righty, so describe the problem that your product or service solves. So why should anyone care about your business?
Why? Who, honey?
One thing people make the mistake of is they start off with, hey, here's the product, buy it. But really what you want to do is say, look, here's a problem we all have. When I wash my hair, it shrinks, right? Like my hair is actually, this long.
Come on, shrinkage.
Wash it, it's damn hair. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm looking like tired Frederick Douglass or Tyler. Over and over, right? So
but you threw a flower in it, so it makes it better, honey.
I did, because it's shown up, Sean. It's shown up. Shout out to Dollar Tree. But that's a common problem, right? And then you introduce the product. Say, look, we have a problem. We as in me and all my dream clients. Here's a problem we have. It just so happens I have a product to solve it, right? And I think the mistake a lot of new businesses do is they're like, I sell bracelets, and then they expect everybody to be like, oh, give me a bracelet.
Yeah, and they get mad.
Solving a problem for your customers. And they might not even know the problem exists, right? On Shark Tank, you'll see all the time people like, I hate it when my brand new cashmere wool sweater gets stretched out. I'm like, I don't have any of those things. So those aren't my problems. But it makes me think like, oh, I do have some clothes that get stretched out or whatever. And they're not as vibrant as they used to be. So sometimes the customer has to be educated about the problem you're trying to solve. So just take that into account, and that's going to go into your customer acquisition costs. We'll have a whole other session about that, but that's just something to keep in mind. Start from the problem and then offer your product or service as a solution. Okay. We can move to the next one.
Okay. Yes. I love that. That was my favorite piece. Okay, so have a solid or simple finance info. You have limited time, so chart or graph and other visuals, charts or graphs and other visuals can help your financials shine.
Yes, so at LHOME, we've had a couple clients who, in addition to maybe getting the Lifeline loan, they also have a side business. They may be hairdressers or whatever else. And when we do our financial coaching with LHOME, we look at like, what is your business and how does it present itself either online or in person? So if you have like a, $30 profit margin on a $2 item, that's amazing, right? But if you can't communicate that in your pitch, investors are not going to want to risk losing their money with you. Similarly, there are people who have a razor thin profit margin. Like they spend $20 per project and making $1 off of that $20 deal, right? But their pitch is solid and they can show the projections like after 1 year, the cost goes down. After 2 years, the cost is cut in half and the profit is doubled. So if you can communicate that through graphs, and it's not bad to show when you were struggling, right? If you started off in your garage and you was hand making it and you was just like day by day, barely making any profit, if you start from there and show them, now look, it's a year later and I'm no longer making it one by one. We have maybe a machine, a 3D printer. And then you show the projections where you plan to go and you have the data to back that up. That is more powerful than just pretending you were perfect the whole time. And not every business is $1 million business, right? We don't have to have $1 million Google ideas in order to be successful. Like we still need mom and pop shops. We need hairdressers. We need the type of traditional businesses that don't necessarily have billions of dollars in the pipeline to make. So I just want to encourage people, if you have an idea, but society or social media is telling you got to have an empire within, the first year, ignore that. Most of them are broke anyway, so just ignore it.
Please speak on it. Yes.
So practice time your pitch. So let your friends and family see your pitch and critique it before you present it in front of investors.
Yes, one thing I've seen a lot on these panels for pitch competitions is people have not timed it. And it's okay to like say, I do that all the time. You say or like, whatever. But if you have 3 minutes, you need to end at 2:59.
Right.
And people, you can get points taken off, but also it shows that you're not prepared and you haven't at least done the work to follow the directions that the investors gave you. Now, there are some pitches that are over like, a whole hour. I've done pitches that were 2 hours for different nonprofits I've worked with. It depends on what the setup is, but you have to understand those rules. The same way an actor needs to learn the lines in a script before the audition, that's what you should be doing because you are auditioning. You're auditioning your business to potential investors. So it's really critical for you to practice first. The same thing if you're getting a business loan. They have certain questions they're going to ask. You can usually Google like common questions or just ask someone you know in finance. Y'all can drop it in the chat and ask me, I'll tell you, right? If you are not prepared for the simple questions, then that's letting them know you're not going to be prepared when something goes wrong. Because even if your pitch is perfect and you just have all this earning potential, things like Corona can happen. Things like, your store could be shoplifted in the first couple of weeks. Whatever it is, you're just not going to prepare for everything. It's impossible. So it's good to make sure that, like, at the very least, you prepare for the things you can, like this pitch. And then we'll go to the last one.
All right, so the last one is let your story come through. Investors want to know the logistics, but they also want to know why they should invest in you.
That's really good. So one example I like to go to is if y'all remember those shoes, Tom's, the dude's name is not Tom. I think Tom is like an acronym for something, but the kind of tagline was if you buy a pair of these canvas shoes, some random child in a vaguely Latin American country will get a pair of shoes too, right? I think he stole the idea from somebody in one of those countries, but that's another conversation.
Wow.
So it was like that story is what was selling people. Right. I read his book when he talked about it. He was like, it was the story. The person would be like, I bought these shoes and that means this random kid gets some shoes. Like that story is what sticks with people, not the price point necessarily, not all the data, but like that story is key. So at the end of the day, if they see 40 pitches, they should remember you. Remember your story and why it's important that they listen to you. So I want to just harp on that. Your story should come through when you're doing these pitches. All right, so trip ups. Yeah, you're gonna have them. You need to just make peace with that. You're gonna have trip ups. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna accidentally, curse on camera. You're gonna accidentally, and maybe that's just me, I don't know. But you're going to y'all remember there was a politician doing like a Zoom meeting or something with like some really important world leaders, and his wife and child. No, first his child came in, and was acting in the background, and another one came in. Then his wife had to try to duck under the video to get them.
That is my favorite video because that little girl walked in like,
and he handled it well. Like he was just like, okay. And the quarter projections or whatever he was meeting about, child. So stuff like that's gonna happen. And he could have easily like lost it in that moment. Or his wife could have easily been like, I'm tired of this on camera, right?
Right.
He handled it super well, even though there was racist people who said stuff about her and about the situation. Like those things will happen, and your ability to recover, that will make a difference. And people remember that. They'll remember your reaction to the mess up more than they will the mess up in many cases. So yeah, just going back into the bullet points. First, a lot of people do a complicated pitch deck. For me, I like a little 10-slide presentation, and it shouldn't have a whole lot of text on every single one. Like some of them, you might have a little more than others, but if you're writing a whole dissertation, you've already gone wrong.
Yeah.
Complicated pitch decks just make a lot more work for the investors. They need to see an overview of what's happening. Like I said, I like to keep it to 10, but also you should just be doing an elevator pitch. Your pitch deck is just a visual version of what you would say to somebody on the ride up 10 floors about your business. We talked about this next one a little bit. So not knowing your audience. When I gave the example earlier of like your hair shrinking, if I go to, I don't know, let's say whatever neighborhood Amy McGrath lives in, right? If I go there door to door and I'm like, hey, do you have problems with your natural hair shrinking every time you wash it? Like, first of all, they're probably gonna call the police. But
if you survive, honey.
Audience, that's not my audience, and it means that I'm just pitching blindly to anyone who will. But that can be bad because, say, in the McGrath example, right? If she is, talking or tweeting about what I'm doing, and she doesn't have the context of what shrinkage even means and how
Yes.
to my actual target audience, that could get some negative publicity. You know what I mean? That could, say if she happened to be a person who's an investor and wants to do beauty products, but doesn't even know that shrinkage is an issue for a whole group of people, that's just going to be wasted time, and that's going to make my business look bad. So it's really important to know your audience. And I put up here, you can, even though I have spelling errors, that happens. Follow the people who have your dream career on LinkedIn. Read the articles they wrote. I do that all the time. And it's not a creepy thing. Like, you can even reach out. One of my business mentors is someone I reached out to on LinkedIn. I was like, I love what you do. I read your articles like every week. This is my career trajectory and where I am, where I expect to be. Like, could we meet for now virtual coffee, but in the past, could we meet for coffee? Or if they're out of town, like, do you mind getting on a call with me? And then also making it reciprocal, right? So like, I'm offering them something, like maybe I'll do, teach a class for 30 minutes on whatever their students need. And then they offer me 30 minutes of their time in a consultation. So sometimes it's just straight up like pay them. I'm not a fan of that. But, you can trade services and you can network horizontally. Issa Rae said that, and I love that. Like, network with the person who has the same level of expertise as you instead of always just get Oprah or, what I mean, just talk to Michelle Obama. There's people on your same career path who can be allies and you.
Yes.
Love that. I wanted to highlight, I'm sorry, just how you follow them on LinkedIn, because I've realized that LinkedIn is a platform that people have kind of like moved away from. Like back in 2014, like when I first started out, like trying to start a business, like it was all about LinkedIn. Get on LinkedIn, get your profile done, and network with people. So are you suggesting for like now in this day and age, is that still a platform that is going to be useful?
This is what I'll say. I didn't get on LinkedIn until I moved to California. That was 2015. That I made my profile in 2015 in the summer when I started that job, because my employer was like, you got to be on there. It's just like one of our requirements. Now I think I have like 1,000 people connections or whatever on there. And I have gotten clients from LinkedIn. I've gotten meetings with funders from LinkedIn. Like, when I go to a foundation's website and see who their board of directors is or see who their past grantees are, I will follow them on LinkedIn, no shame at all. And straight up ask them, like, hey, I noticed you're on this board. They don't have an application for grantees. It looks like it's invite only. Could I talk to you so we can discuss like how my organization can get on that list? I'm a very big advocate of LinkedIn as a professional networking vehicle, basically. I wish they would pay me. So LinkedIn, if you're listening, pay me. Gotcha. But no, I've gotten so many clients, and I've gotten, a lot of really good insight. And I suggested, I'm in the nonprofit sector and I do finance. Maybe outside of those two, it's not a great networking platform, but if you use it for what it's supposed to be, it is. And like my picture on there is very professional. My posts are not frequent, but they're all about business, like accomplishments made, or what loan product my company is offering, articles that are shared by my colleagues who are in tech or finance. So I curate that much more than Facebook or Instagram. That is only professional. And if someone reaches out to me with something that's not professional, I immediately block them. Or if they try to add me and I look at their profile, they don't have a picture up, they don't seem to be posting about anything related to work or something professional, straight up block. No. So then again, it's different for every sector. If you're a creative entrepreneur who maybe does jewelry or Tai Chi or something, I don't know if it's as effective, but at least for my sectors, it's been very effective.
Yeah, I just think that it's nice to point out other platforms other than Facebook and Instagram. I mean, I know we're using Facebook now for this, but just when you go to those platforms, for a fact that like these people are on here for a specific reason, and that reason is business. So
yes.
right, cool.
And there are some other oons. I've heard my coworkers, some of them use Podio. I'm not familiar with it. That might be one to look into.
I've heard of that.
Mimi Connects is on, I think it's a Slack channel maybe. And that's like all Black creatives and Black professionals. So there are a lot of other ones. Coalition of Black Excellence. I'm on their Impact Nonprofit board. Once a year, there is a big gala. Some people say gala. I say gala. But there's an
Yeah,
opportunity networking within those professional groups. Like I really respect a lot of what sororities fraternities do in terms of building those spaces for Black creatives and Black professionals. And I'll shout out Angela Johnson, who created Coalition Black Excellence out of the Bay Area, and Nakina. And I mean, there's a bunch of board members, but those are the two that always come to mind, of course. And they created like a in real life version of LinkedIn. I've got clients through working with them. I've found people who I've paid to do things, and I know that it's already vetted through them. And so those sorts of networks I think are really important, and it helps me know who my audience is by like pitching to them first before I do a pitch competition. So yeah, I mean, LinkedIn works for my sector, but you have to find a platform that's your LinkedIn essentially. And I'm gonna run through this next one real quick. This is just being vague. Some people feel weird about asking for money. Some people feel weird about like saying, oh, my product, like I'm gonna sell this art piece for $1,000. Like I've done that before with my artwork. I'm like, oh, how much do you want to pay? You're not gonna make that. So being vague is not gonna serve you. Minda Honey, I know I've been shouting out like so many people.
Yes.
Professor Spalding. She's an author, writer. She's just a dope person all around. She said something that changed my life. Okay, I mean, she said a lot of things that changed my life, but this is the big thing that relates to business. Being humble is a trap, okay? Especially for Black women. Like there's that thing where like you might have a white person who is like in your professional space who they're like, you're so great, you're amazing, you're wonderful. But if you outshine them, then you're a threat and they start treating those microaggressions against you. And being humble is a way some of us react. I know I do that. I'm like, oh no, it's fine. Like I downplay my accomplishments and I say, no, well, actually it was this other person that really helped me. And, try to pretend like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. So that they don't feel intimidated and then don't retaliate against me. But that is a trap. It gets you nowhere. It definitely doesn't get you money. I mean, unless maybe you're selling Bibles. Like I can't even think of because God wants us to not be, braggadocious, whatever. But that's like the only thing I could think of. But I don't know any pastors who are like humble like that. You know what I'm saying? Like humble to the point where they're like, no, I actually don't know about God. Don't ask me.
No, because the Bible teaches us to be bold. Right. So that's not even biblically sound to be timid and humble. And that is.
And we're talking specifically about Black women. We are always going to downplay. Historically, Black women, in order to protect their Black children, when a child would get a compliment, they would say, oh no, he's just dumb and ugly. Because they don't want him to be stolen and taken away.
Oh yeah.
He works like no, actually he's lazy, he's stupid, he don't know how to do it. And they would say that in order to make them less appealing as a potential enslaved person to another plantation. They would never see their children again. So that's been ingrained in us. And now's the time, especially in this era, to shed that. I got a little preachy there for a second, but I really want Black women to realize like being humble is not gonna get you that $250,000 or whatever your projection.
Yes.
All right, so cash flow. All right, so this is my favorite part because I don't like spending money, but I like making money.
Yay!
Cash flow is important. So you can have revenue, right? That's the money that's being paid for your products or services. You can have $1 billion revenue. But if you are spending $3 billion, it doesn't really matter. Uber is a good example. I don't think they've turned a profit yet. Like as big as the company is, as much as they fundraised, as much as investors have put in, and they have, not just driving now, but they have Uber Eats and they have all these other things. The reason why Lyft can offer free rides to the polls and Uber cannot is because Lyft is turning a profit. Right? It's a similar, it's basically the same company, except one is more homophobic and racist. I ain't gonna say which one.
We know it's Uber.
But the reason, and again, this could be updated as of now. I know last year when I was doing stock market, they had not turned a profit. I think their IPO was doing pretty poorly. Don't even ask me what IPO stands for because I don't remember. I'm not even gonna try to pretend, but the IPO shows how well they're doing financially. They were doing bad. And so even though the revenue was bomb, like just about everybody, especially millennials, have used Uber. Uber Eats, you know what I mean? So it's like the money's coming in, but it's going right back out, right? They owe investors, they have to, they're coming up with new technology like self-driving cars, even though I think they've kind of stopped that research, but that costs money. That's R&D, research and development, that costs money. So they have, or at least had, a negative cash flow. Meaning, yes, they get money, but it's going right back out and they owe people. What you want is a positive cash flow. You want more money coming in than going out. It's just like with your bills. If you make $900 a month and your bills are $1,800 a month, you're in debt, sweetie. And so you want the reverse of that. So when we talk about cash flow, we want to make sure that we have positive cash flow. I see my little homegirl here with the money bags.
Okay. And homegirl with the puffs. You killed this, Shauntrice.
All of these graphics, I'm telling you, they're lit.
Listen, Canva all day. I'm very supportive of that. And this is a free version of Canva. I know they probably don't want to.
Oh, wow.
I love Canva.
And I love her crop top.
You did the whole presentation on Canva, or you did like each block separately?
All of it.
Girl.
Wow.
Now see, ladies, y'all need to be taking notes.
Seriously.
And that's what I'll say too. Every single pitch I've ever done, every single pitch deck, like when I spoke last year at Coalition of Black Excellence, I did a pitch in front of like maybe a couple hundred people. It was a Canva pitch. It was a Canva pitch deck. And they literally, you just type pitch deck. And that's a way to save money. Sorry, Canva. You get the premium subscription, but this was made on the free one.
Right.
So this is a sample pitch outline. And ladies, I don't know if we still have a person who's gonna like jump in and be able to do a pitch. But I just want to go over the outline with y'all. So you see, this is not long. So don't feel like you have to make a 30-minute presentation. And I think the number one fear, even before death, is public speaking for a reason, right? So don't feel like you have to do this long drawn out pitch. You're probably going to lose people, lose their interest if you do a long pitch. And this is approximate. So I would say start out with a story that addresses the problem. We talked about that earlier. What is the problem that we are trying to solve? Every time I come home, I got to cook. I hate cooking. I ain't got time. I'm not good at it. And so a company like Blue Apron or Freshly or Chef Prep, which is a local Black-owned company here in Louisville, a place like Chef Prep will say, look, we can take care of all those problems. When you get home, there could just be a box at home. You throw it on the skillet or whatever. I don't think I had to do it because I ain't been ordering from them yet. But when I get in the new house, I'm going to order from Chef Prep. Again, that's Chef Prep, Black-owned, local. So Chef Prep can come along and say, you know what, we can solve that problem. Here's the food. Here's the convenience that you're looking for. We can even deliver on the day that you picked. So those type of things, those personal stories, they may start out and say, listen, even though I'm a chef, when I get home, I'm tired. So I just want something prepared for me. And so that's where you come into the relatable universal story or problem. And you offer that solution. These are really quick things. And then you talk about the benefits or advantages. So for me, with Chef Prep, for example, my biggest thing that I was thinking about was I don't want to cook. I don't feel like it. I don't have time. But then the other benefit is using Chef Prep, you can save money, right? So that's another level to the solution. You can also spend more time with your family instead of being frustrated in the house hot cooking. You can save energy because you're not doing as much like with shopping for the ingredients and cooking, using your stove more, using your time more. So you have these benefits and advantages in addition to the original problem. Finally, these three are really important and they are specific, like empirical things, right? So for stats and numbers, you want to say exactly how much your company made, how much you lost. Recent developments, you want to say, in the last week, we have raised $100,000. Just simple stuff like that. And finally, the call to action. And I know I'm running through these kind of quick, but I really want y'all to understand that like your pitch doesn't have to follow this exact formula. But the good thing about having a structure is you can pick and choose what you want to do. All right. So on the next slide, what I'm going to do, if it's okay with my co-leaders here, is have you all and anybody that's in the chat take the next 90 seconds to outline a 1-minute pitch. And I'm going to give Mahogany and Christian a fake product that they are going to have to write a pitch about. All right.
Yes.
once I say what the product is, and I'm gonna give each of y'all a different one, I will give you 90 seconds to outline a 1-minute pitch. And I'll go back to the screen that has the pitch outline on it for you. All right.
Shauntrice, I thought I was ahead of the game. I had my product in my head. I was so ready.
She threw us for a curveball.
She did. I love it.
Gotta switch it up a little bit. Gotta switch it up. So, Christian, your product is going to be, drum roll, adult diapers.
Yes.
All right. And Mahogany, your product is going to be curtains that close themselves.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to put 90 seconds on the clock.
You got some music?
Oh, that would be good. And let me do that.
Sing.
So y'all gonna have a little extra time because unless y'all already have music.
I said I can sing.
Sing a song.
Okay, so I'm putting 90 seconds on the clock. I'm about to put Ari Lennox on the speaker.
Okay. All the vibes.
Let's see.
And when you put out
if you ever watch this, I love you, girl. I love you so much. You're so dope and so talented. And
okay, that's my sister.
Yeah, even though I can't sing, I want to be you when I grow up.
We danced together at Sully's, Ari, if you're watching this. Sully's though.
Y'all never know. Ari Lennox might end up watching our
She
show.
loves Louisville. She tweeted about us. Yeah, she tweeted about how Black Louisville is lit.
It show is, honey. Okay, her. These are those I put.
Are you gonna pull back up the rules? The
Yes.
criteria? Okay.
Distraction, but this is my favorite song by her.
Y'all got about 30 seconds left.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna pause you, Madam Lennox. We love you so much. And
Yes,
if you watch this for real, girl, please don't ever stop making music. We love you so much.
We need you.
You're the bomb, you're beautiful, you're great, all the stuff. So
Shea Butter Baby.
listen. Yeah, and if y'all haven't seen it, y'all need to watch her Tiny Desk concert. It is one of the best Tiny Desk concerts I have ever watched, and I watch a lot of them. So yeah, just shout out to Ari Lennox and all the dope Black women out there. Yes. Okay, so y'all time is up, and we are going to hear these pitches. I'm very excited. I'm gonna leave this up so you all can see the outline, but remember, you don't have to do this exact thing. All right. Whoever's ready to go first can go first, and when you start, I will start the timer.
My palms are so sweaty, but I will go.
Oh
Shauntrice Tank instead of Shark Tank.
Right.
How's my hair, y'all? All right. Timer up.
Yep, and I'm gonna put it up to the screen once you start.
Okay. So if you all are like me, once you start to unwind, once you get in that bed, you don't want to get up. Now, just because I'm laying down does not mean that I'm actually ready to go to bed. There may be things that I just don't want to get up and do, such as close those daggone curtains, but I need to. So that is why you all need to check out these curtains that close themselves. You may have nosy neighbors and you might not be prepared for your neighbors to see what's going on in your house, if you know what I mean. So why don't you go out and check out online our curtains that close themselves. These are perfect for folks that, once you get in bed, you're cozy, or some people are nudists. You need to cover up, but no need to when you have curtains that close themselves. I can't see the timer, but I'm going to keep going. So some of the perks perks of this, these are battery included, and those, it's actually batteries included, and they reach, they're chargeable. So plug them up with your USB and you can use your.
Really, you was done though, so you still did good.
That was actually pretty good. And I'll call out the time if y'all can't see it. I'll hold it up too. All right.
Oh, Christian's gonna get that.
I'll call it. Don't put the pressure on me.
You got it.
You just killed it too. All right. Okay. And what I just did for a pitch class in December, so I should be ready. Okay, I think I'm ready.
Whenever you start talking, I'll start the timer.
All right. So picture it. You taking care of your mom who may or may not be having adult problems with using the bathroom, right? So she has her adult diapers on and she's making messes all over the floor, all over the furniture. And you are constantly having to take it out and clean up. It has to be done, right? And you're not getting on her because it's something that she can't control. But imagine a product that would make that task a whole lot easier. May I present to you my Sankofa adult diaper, okay?
Yes.
With the move of retch around and rinse it off. So this is going to help you in so many different aspects. First of all, they are super absorbent, right? So it's not going to cause as much leaks as some of the other adult diapers that might be on the market. Another thing that helps you out is that each adult diaper comes with a wipe that it just makes you smell fresh after every change, and it just makes the job a whole lot easier. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Well done. So yes, I love the branding. I love that it's saying Kofa adult.
Yes.
I'm really digging that. So the reason, and I would say, like, for anybody who watches this, do a pitch practice that's not just your product. Like, pick a product of your competitor. If you are doing a Black-owned hotel, like, go see what Airbnb does. You can usually Google Airbnb pitch deck. You know, hotels.com pitch deck. Whatever the company is doing what you want to do, making the money you want to make, Google it. I mean, or Bing, whatever, but I use Google. And just search, like, what is their pitch deck? Because I guarantee you most of this stuff is public and free. So I would encourage you to practice a couple pitches with someone else's products that you use, right? Or just try something totally different that is not within your sector. But definitely, I want you to practice this at least once in the next week. All right, so I want Mahogany and Christian to grade each other. So, and you don't have to write anything down. You don't have to write anything down. But I want you all to think about the branding. Did y'all talk about the revenue model, the profit, communication skills, visual presentation, right? So I want you all to take like 10, 15 seconds to think about that. And then as you feel comfortable, go ahead and share a little bit of feedback. And it's all love. Don't, you know, we're not going to cuss each other out or do nothing crazy. But just share a little bit of feedback. And then the same thing, if you're out there watching this and you do a pitch presentation, I want you to take the time to have the feedback too. Record yourself if you need to and watch it back and write down notes on what you can improve. Like, the investors are not going to see all your practice, but they're going to see the results of your practice, which is going to be a more polished pitch. So I'm going to give y'all a little bit of time and just kind of talk about with these 5 feedback points, what could be done better. And of course, you had a last minute product, you know, that you had 90 seconds to prep for. So be kind to yourself.
So I really like how you presented the product and you presented a real life problem. Like, this is something I feel like everybody has curtains, right? And then everybody deals with, some people want to leave their curtains open. And I'm one of those people who, like, I don't like people in my business, so I'll put my curtains up. So I really like that. And I like how you spoke with confidence. Like, you spoke out and you like, hey, if you don't get my product, honey, everybody gonna be looking in your house. So for me, that was what kind of drew me in. And then also you added perks. So not only are you getting the product, but look what else my product comes with. You don't have to worry about batteries because the batteries that it already comes with are rechargeable. So you had me, honey.
And wait, I'll challenge you, Christian, and I'll challenge everybody to do this. Give 2 points of criticism. And it doesn't have to be negative criticism, but were anything on this list missing? Or what's something, if it was your money she was asking for, like, what were some questions you would have? If she was like, yeah, Christian, like, this self-closing curtain, like I believe in this. It's $1 billion idea. Can I have $1,000 right now? Right? So think about what you would ask as an investor.
Okay, so as an investor, I would say the revenue model and the likelihood profit, I didn't hear any of that. And then also, like, I'm big on children, so I would want to know, like, the risk, like, are the kids gonna get hurt? Is it child friendly? Like, is it something that the child can push a button and be able to close the curtain, or I'm gonna have to keep them away from it? So that's something I would say.
Receive, y'all, receive. So you killed it. First of all, your first one, picture it. Okay, I can see it. I love that you mentioned like the mama, so then you got like, what is that? Ethos, when you touch people like personally. So, you were able to connect with people like on that personal level, and then you were able to mention like the competition, which is important. So like them other ones, you ain't gonna have them with my product, and it was just like very much relatable. Like, you know, depending on where you are in life, you know, that's something that you're dealing with. And the branding, I love the Sankofa. You kept it Black. You are the Black brand ambassador, so that was real authentic and catchy. What's some feedback? Maybe if we knew, like, what about the cost? So you told me that it's more efficient than the other products, but is it more cost efficient getting your product? Likelihood of a profit. I don't even know about that. So we're gonna have to talk about that too. I just need a personal, like, virtual coffee or coffee. Help me get my life. And then another piece of feedback. Did you say why it was named Sankofa? I did. Okay, so I mean that could be one thing. Like, is this tied to, you know, going back to? Oh, I did say working. Oh, okay, it's a spin on words, but cute. That's my feedback.
That was good. All right, so we're gonna keep
pitch competition.
I know. Come on, products. We didn't know we was about to have products.
Right. When she said we was gonna pitch, I automatically thought about something that I was already doing, and like, okay, I'm gonna talk about this, and that. It was really a throw for
the other thing I want to think about too. This is like outside of the presentation, because this is public, anybody can access it. You want to protect your intellectual property. Like if y'all want to use actual products and you're recording it, everyone can see this till the end of time or until the robots take over. You don't want your idea to be taken by somebody who has free time. Right? Who has people's work is stolen all the time. Like that's how we have Elvis Presley, right? From the theft of Black artistry. So that's something you want to consider is like when I'm pitching, make sure I'm pitching to people who are not then going to turn around and take my idea. Hey y'all, so I think a laptop might have died. So we're almost at the end of the presentation. I'm gonna reshare the screen so you all can still see towards the end. And yes, so Here's the last thing. If you're watching, the homework is just to choose 1 to 2 assignments off of this list that you're going to do. Anyone who does this homework can email it to me, smartin@lhomeky.org, and I'll look over it. Y'all know I'm super busy, so it might take some time, but I want to encourage you to do at least 1 to 2 of these assignments. If you can do all of them, great. But in order to monetize your business, you have to think about money. You have to get comfortable discussing money, profit, loss, those sorts of things. So I just want to encourage you all. I know there are a lot of great businesses out there. I'm gonna shout out my friend Charisma, who painted my lovely blue wall back here. You know, there's just so many creative ways that we can supplement our income, especially during COVID-19 and quarantining. So I just want y'all to stay encouraged. I hope you're being kind to yourself, checking in with yourself, listening to your body, and, you know, just being your beautiful, beautiful selves. All right. Love y'all.